Hey everybody, this is Bob. Welcome to Things I Like. Today we're looking around the North Oregon coast, starting with Seaside. Seaside is a great little, slightly touristy town with world-class beaches, great food, and lots to do for almost every taste. For those rare times when it actually rains on the Oregon coast, Seaside has a variety of family-friendly indoor activities as well as the usual and some unusual shopping opportunities. And before you leave town, don't forget to visit the galactically famous Gum Pole. We're a few miles north of Seaside now, in Astoria, about to ride a vintage trolley.
Okay, if you look out there to your left, you see the Cannery Pier Hotel and Spa. That is an upscale hotel. It was rebuilt from the ground up to replicate the cannery that was on that site, including the non-functional smokestacks at the west end. Again, it is an upscale hotel. All rooms have a view of the river and the fireplace. Once you arrive, throw your car keys away. A chauffeur in one of 3 classic cars will take you wherever you need to go to wine, dine, or shop. The red building that we're coming up to, called the Red Building, was the machine shop for that cannery. As we go by at the far end, you can look through the windows of the Bridgewater Bistro. You can see the original oak beams, and you're welcome to step inside and see them up close and personal, along with the original oak floor. Bridgewater Bistro is an upscale restaurant. On your right there, the mustard-colored 4-story building originally was and still is a boarding house. When the Scandinavian men came over from the old country hundreds of years ago to work the logging and fishing industry, they needed a place to stay. They stayed in the boarding house till they saved enough money to build a house and bring their families over. This end of town, called Uniontown, is the older part of town. The houses on the hill with the more steeply roofs are the older houses because they built them to allow the snow to slide off. We don't get snow here in Astoria. We don't even sell snow shovels. Okay, now if you look to your left and down, don't blink, get ready, here it comes, Astoria's only sandy beach. Eat your heart out, California. Hey, don't laugh, when the tide goes out we even have more beach. Now all the flat land you see here in Astoria is man-made because originally the water extended from the river on your left to the hills on your right. So at various times we will be operating over trestles going over water, such as right now. So in accordance with federal regulations, should we have a water landing, your life preserver is the person next to you. Those ships that you saw sitting at anchor out there behind us now, they're waiting for one of several things. Most likely they're waiting for their dock upriver in Portland, Vancouver, Longview, or whatever to open up. They can anchor in the river here for free. If they choose to go upriver and anchor, it can cost them as much as $600 a day. In addition, they could be waiting for Coast Guard clearance, TSA clearance, or if they intend to take on any kind of grain, their holds must be steam cleaned and inspected. These ocean-going vessels that come in and out basically are carrying, bringing in is autos. We do export autos also, mostly Ford Fusions. We also export petroleum products, container freight, agricultural products and minerals, including wheat. In fact, this Columbia River exports more wheat than all the other ports of the United States combined. Over 40 million tons of cargo valued at over $23 billion crosses this bar. It's handled by 16 bar pilots and 44 river pilots. They cover about 3,600 ships a year. It is federal law, and all these ocean-going vessels must have a river pilot to take them up or down the river and a bar pilot to take them across the bar. If you look on a mariner's navigation chart, you'll see that this bar is called the Graveyard of the Pacific. Over 200 ocean-going vessels, 2,000 small craft, and more than 700 lives have been lost trying to cross that bar. Astoria is a Coast Guard town. This is where we train our air-sea rescue people. Up at 17th Street, we have our 2 Coast Guard cutters, 216 feet long. Crew is 64 plus 16 officers. Across the river, we have our high-speed rescue vessels, and out at the airport are our choppers. Most of the heavy-duty training occurs during December and January when the bar is at its worst. That bridge you see there, that's the Astoria Megler Bridge. It began construction in 1962. It opened up in 1966. It was a toll bridge. $1.50 was the toll. It was paid off ahead of schedule in 1994. When they were building it, they called it the Bridge to Nowhere because it went from Astoria, Oregon to Megler, Washington. Megler's a mountain. Nobody lives there. However, it is Highway 101 that connects Canada with Mexico non-stop. It is a motor-only bridge. However, every October, this year, October 13th, we have the annual Great Columbia Crossing. It is a certified 10K race. The cost is $40, give or take a few, if you want the electronic chip to be certified with. Buses will take you across to the Washington side. Approximately 8 o'clock in the morning, the starting gun goes off and you have 2 hours to walk, run, jog across the bridge. The bridge is totally closed. Great photo ops. You have about 2 hours because we do need to open up the highway. So 2 hours later, a bus will come along to pick you up. I need to warn you, there's a big sign on the bus and it says, shame. 3,500 runners are the maximum allowed. All the money goes to local charity. This bridge is 200 feet from the water to the roadbed, another 150 feet to the top, built to withstand 150 mile-an-hour winds and 9 knots occurring. This Columbia River begins up in British Columbia at an elevation of about 2,700 feet. It's about 1,240 miles long and houses 14 hydroelectric dams. We are coming up to the Maritime Memorial. The names on the wall are those men and women who have worked the river and have given up their lives, along with our servicemen and women. As we pass by, as you look out there, you see the archway is open, and according to folklore, that's to allow the dearly departed to rise up. You can hop off either end. This trolley, Old 300, is totally operated by volunteers. We are all state certified. Every year the state comes in, we need to pass our usual testing. From what we understand, we are one of 2 trolleys in the United States, one of 3 probably in the world that strictly operates on your ridership and generosity. We receive no tax dollars to operate this trolley. As you look across there to your right, about 1 o'clock, you see logs piling up there. Washington, Oregon is logging country. We get a log ship in about once a month. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to load them. Most of the logs that we're shipping out here go to the Asian countries, predominantly China.
Well, here we are at the Columbia River Maritime Museum. I wanted to see a particular ship that's here, the Columbia Lightship, which was stationed at the mouth of the Columbia River from 1951 to 1979. I passed by this ship quite a number of times years ago on the way to go salmon fishing. Here's another view of those large ships coming or going to parts unknown. And here, if you look up on the hill, is our next stop. Well, here we are at the Astoria column, also known as the Astor column. It is the highest and certainly the windiest place in all of Astoria. Even though it has 164 steps, we're going up.
tree of mine. But I'll be happy to get down. I'm scared of heights.
Well, folks, we've stopped by the Oregon Film Museum to see some artifacts and memorabilia, including the Jeep from the 1985 movie The Goonies. This is the wreck of the Peter Iredale. There was a lot more to it years ago, but it has been increasingly wrecked over the years. When I was a kid, it was a dangerous but fun jungle gym. This is the South Jetty at the mouth of the Columbia River. It's about as far northwest as you can go in Oregon without getting your feet wet. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this and some not like this, please subscribe.